I am James Cryan. I am a senior staff scientist at SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory. The problem that I'm most interested in is how electrons move around inside of molecules. And so we start with gas phase systems because it's easy to isolate and say, well, if you did let's say you had a real system that you cared about of a molecule inside of a solution, and you did a measurement and you didn't know how to interpret the answer, and then you have some calculations and they don't agree, you say, oh, how do I make sense out of all of this? So we like to try to make the problem as simple as possible and then build up in complexity. And I think something like the UK XFEL would really help with this, that you could come and do a beam time on a very simple molecule, then you could come back and do it on a more complicated molecule. Now you can start putting that molecule into solution. Beam time is a very hard to come by commodity. It's also very risky right now to do beam time, so we tend to, or a lot of times groups that have some ability already demonstrated at FELs find more time at FELs. We need to get away from this kind of way of working, that we can try other ideas. I have multiple groups come to me every year when we have another proposal call at Stanford and say, oh, I read this paper and I think we'd really like to try this technique with this other science field, with this thing that we don't know how it's going to work. And we write a proposal, and it's a very nice proposal, but it ends up not quite cutting the, well, it could be a high risk. And so having one of these next generation sources with multiple beam lines and multiple users happening all at the same time, getting more the FEL towards what a synchrotron operation style looks like, I think would have a huge impact on what FEL science can go to. I think it will actually create a thriving environment, because we do see lots of very talented researchers coming from the UK to LCLS as associate staff scientists, all of these things, doing really great research, I think. So there are a lot of great ideas coming out of the UK, and it would be great if there was also a place where those could grow, locally, instead of having to start at facilities other places.